Hi 2A. So today in math, we are going to be talking about lines of symmetry. And I'm sure you remember lines of symmetry a little bit from art class with Miss D. So if you need a minute to pause the video and really think about what you remember from symmetry from art or other things that you might have heard the word symmetry before, you can do that. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I am seeing. So a line of symmetry is an imaginary line, it's not a line we can see, that cuts a shape in half into two sides that are exactly the same. So in art class, I remember you were making symmetrical robots. So you had a line of symmetry and both sides of your robot had to be the same. So if you put a triangle for this ear, you had to put a triangle for this ear. Your lines of symmetry had to be the same on each side. Another animal that is symmetrical are butterflies. When you think about the wings of a butterfly, they're the exact same on both sides. So if there's a circular shape on this side, there has to be one in the same place on this side. And shapes have lines of symmetry as well, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I have cut out some shapes out of paper over here, and one way of finding a shape's lines of symmetry is to fold the shape and see if the sides match exactly. So the first shape we have here is a triangle. So I'm going to fold the triangle to see if I can get my sides to match. Now, some shapes have 0 lines of symmetry. They don't match at all. Some shapes have 1, some shapes have 2 or 3. So it might be that you have to think of a couple ways to fold the shape. So I am going to fold this triangle this way first because I think this looks like a line of symmetry. A little tricky here. Oh, but I can get it. There we go. So I can fold the shape, and if I look, it's the same on both sides. It matches up perfectly. So I have one line of symmetry in my shape. Is there another way I could fold this triangle and get a line of symmetry? I don't know. If I try to fold this up here, it's not quite the same on both sides. This side has 2 corners on it. This side only has 1. I think my triangle only has 1 line of symmetry right down the middle here. My next shape I have is a square. Take a guess, either pause the video or take a moment and think about how many lines of symmetry do you think a square is going to have? So my first one is I'm going to fold it like this. They're the same on both sides. So I have at least 1 line of symmetry. Now if I fold it the other way, they're the same on both sides again. So I have a second line of symmetry. Do you think there's any more lines of symmetry in my square? There is. I can fold my square diagonally, and it's the same on both sides if I fold my square diagonally. So my square has 3 lines of symmetry. And my last shape I'm going to share with you is this funny stair shape. And I figured I'd make a shape that's not one that we've learned a lot about to see if this one has any lines of symmetry. So pause the video if you need to and think about how many lines of symmetry do you think this shape has? So I'm going to start by trying to fold it this way. If I fold it this way, right down here, is my top half the same as the bottom half? No, this one has like 2 of the stairs in it. This one only has 1. This one's definitely fatter than the top here. So that one wasn't a line of symmetry. What if I fold it like this? Is it the same on this side and this side? Nope, not the same there. Okay, let me try to fold it diagonally here. Is it the same here and here? Nope, it's different. So this shape has 0 lines of symmetry. There is no way I can fold this shape to give it be the exact same on both sides of the line. So this shape has 0 lines of symmetry. So your activity for today, and we're going to do one together, and then you can do the rest in a moment, is going to be a riddle activity. So let me pull myself, share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing. And it's called Guess My Shape. And the reason that we went over lines of symmetry for this activity is sometimes to guess the shape, they're going to give you lines of symmetry as a clue. So for this activity, if you can print this, this is great. If not, you can always just either just think about it and do it out loud, or you can try it on your own on a separate piece of paper. So the first clue for the first one is my shape does not have 3 sides. So what shapes, I'm going to think about what shape can I get rid of that I know has 3 sides? Yeah, it can't be a triangle, so I know it's not a triangle. My shape has 4 corners or vertices. So it has 4 corners or angles on it. Okay. The sides on my shape are not all the same length. So I'm thinking of a 4-sided shape I can get rid of is my square. My square has 4 sides, or 4 corners rather, but all these sides are the same length, so it can't be a square. Only 2 of the sides on my shape are parallel, and they give us a reminder in the box here of what parallel means. Remember, parallel are 2 lines that if they're next to each other and they go on forever and ever and ever and ever, they're never going to touch in both directions. They'll never cross. But this one, if I'm going to make these lines longer, eventually these are going to cross. So these are not parallel. So only 2 sides of my shape are parallel. And my shape has 1 line of symmetry. If you need to take a minute and pause and try to figure out what shape I am giving you hints for, you can do that. My shape is a trapezoid. So a trapezoid has how many sides? 4 sides. So it has 4 sides, 4 corners or vertices. The sides are not all the same length because, let me see if I can draw a trapezoid on my screen here for you all to see. Let me get my drawing. There you go. So remember, a trapezoid kind of looks like this. So it has my 4 corners or vertices. The sides aren't the same length. These are not the same length. These ones might be, but these are definitely not. So they're not all the same length. Only 2 sides are parallel. Which 2 sides are parallel? The top and the bottom, or the right and the left? The top and the bottom are parallel. This line, if I kept going and going and going, I could go on forever and they would never touch. These 2 lines, if I kept them going and going forever, they would eventually start touching probably up here somewhere. And it has 1 line of symmetry. I'm going to use a different color here so you can see. And my line of symmetry is this one right here. If I cut it right down the middle here, now mine's a little bit of a funky drawing, so that is a little bit harder to see because I'm drawing with my mouse here. But if I look at these 2 sides, they're pretty much the same. So there's 1 line of symmetry. If I, let me undo that. If I cut the shape here this way, is this a line of symmetry? No, because this top part looks a lot different than the bottom part. So it has 1 line of symmetry, therefore it is a trapezoid. So your job for today is going to be to finish the rest of these riddles. We have another one here, and then there's one on the back. So there's you did the first one with me, and then there's 2 more riddles for you to figure out. Like I said, you can either talk this out with somebody at home if you don't have a printer or don't have time to draw it or print it out. If you want to draw it, that's okay. If you don't have a printer, you can always just draw or write about it on a separate piece of paper. So I hope everyone enjoys learning about lines of symmetry today at home, and I will see you soon.